So this morning I'm finally going to get to tidying up this bonsai, my Ficus Rubiginosa rusty fig. It is way overgrown. So I've actually got it in quite a large pot. Normally a bonsai pot would be way shallower, but I'm growing it on, fattening it up. But I've let it grow too much. And I'm missing half my bonsai tools. But essentially what I've got to do is get in and have a look at the form. So, you know, you can see the exposed trunks. Now with these ficus, you buy them from a garden centre and it'll only have that showing, above my hand showing. And then you just literally get a hose, high pressure hose, and wash out all the soil, and that's what you're left with. So I've got to go through and shape this. Now I've got lots of dead branches, so I've got to get in and tidy all of those up. And with the bonsai cutters, for those who don't know, lots of people do know, they have a sort of, they do an undercut, they cut in, they're curved. So I don't know if you can see clearly enough, but in there, that's sort of cut into it. So when the cambium layer, the healing layer of bark goes over the top, it ends up being smooth. So now with these, there's some aerial roots forming, so I've got to make a decision, do I want those or not? But essentially, see this branch here, it's coming out, it's a bit hard to see, out there it's sort of quite juvenile, yet I've got a more mature, thicker branch slightly above it. So this one can go in its entirety. Now I'm just going to cut that off. I've actually got a bigger pair of cutters and you can see the curved edge on that there. Hopefully that didn't blur out too much on the video. And really what I should be doing is getting in there and cutting that, and a little bit hard to see, however right there, that's curved in, cambium layer heals, it'll be dead smooth, you'll never know there's a branch there. So essentially that's what I've got to do. This branch is dead, it can go, and that one coming out of there. Do I want that? It's quite a juvenile branch. Have a look at what the other alternatives are. So look, rather than me boring you with a really long-winded video, what I might do is, well actually no, I'll just keep going. And you can fast forward to the end if that's what you want to do. Now, actually, I do have a problem up here. Normally a tree has a leader, you know, the top of the tree. Even if it's a cascading style tree, it'll have a branch that cascades out. In this particular style, normally it would be, you know, pointing upright. And so that particular leader has died off. Now, I've got a choice. There's a style, I think the term's ginning, where you peel back the bark and you make it white, and so you're showing that the tip of the tree has died, because that happens in nature. That's what we're doing with bonsai, right? Replicating what happens in nature, just miniature. So I've got to make a decision, you know, do I want to do that style, or do I, which I think I will do, is select another branch to be the leader. Now this one's quite robust. Now you can imagine that, you know, a bonsai just goes from different thicknesses. You know, you've got your core trunk and it goes down, tapers down, everything's tapering down. So this one here has grown on, and so I can wire that to reform it upwards, and then it's actually got some nice little side branches that I can cascade down. Now, there's nothing on this side, but if I clear all this, wire that upright, then a branch will shoot out that side. It's actually got some aerial roots dropping out, but it will shoot out that side. So I'm going to do that. So I'll clear that dead branch in there, if I can get to it. Yep. And again, nice concave cut. I'll tidy that up a bit more once I've cleared it. Now, if I've got that as my upright, do I want this one? Well, yeah, I do. So I will just continue to work through. There's quite a bit of dead wood over here. There's bits of juvenile wood. I've just got to decide whether I want those. So I'll keep that side branch working through. Got to decide at what width do I want this. So I'm going to overcut it. I'll cut it a little bit longer than what I think, but I might end up deciding to leave it at that point. You've got to be a little bit careful with the ficus. They do have sap, and that's quite sticky, and you wouldn't want to be licking your hands. You can just spray water on that and that'll stop the sap flowing. Now here, I've got a bit of a mess. You know, there's around so you can see it. There's just branches coming out everywhere. You can't have that. That's not good form. So you've got all these juvenile branches, a few dead twigs. So I'm actually just going to get in there and cut all of those out. Rip those ones off, just to sort of start to clear it, get more of a sense of its form. What a mess. I did leave that overgrow. You know, because you don't want a whole bunch of, you know, stems coming from one spot. That just makes for an ungainly tree. And again, here, do I want this branch coming out from that thicker branch? No. Do I want, again, there's another one there coming out there? No, I don't want that. You know, I want it to start forming branches away from that main trunk. So do I want this one coming out from the main stem? No. Twigs everywhere. So let's clean all those up. Now, when you get to here, can you see how we're tapering down? We've cleared all that mess. I've got a few bulbous bits here. Let's tidy those up. That there. Now, we've got a nice little side branch shooting there. That can stay there. But let's shorten this. So let's go out to, and you try and pick where a node, where you want the branch to shoot from. Do you want it at the top, the bottom, the side, pointing forwards? And invariably with the bonsai, you've got a front, right? So you've got to make a decision, where's the front? Well, this is the back. So if I was to choose an upward one, that'd be it. This branch is the back, remember we're facing the back, so this branch is facing forward, so I'd probably go there because there's a leaf there, so that shoot will go out there and that'll cover up that cut, and again we're getting that tapering. With me? Make sense? Okay, so that's sort of pretty well formed. Now these leaves are way too big, they'll need to come off, but I'll just leave them there for now, and when this is maintained correctly, these leaves are actually going to be quite small shooting off. So I've got another overgrown one down the end. Probably should have brought that down a bit. But anyway, carry on. So that's a lot clearer. And can you see here, we've got the same thing going on. We've got an old and more mature branch. We've got a juvenile one. Similar thicknesses. Do we want those two? Maybe, maybe not. But what I do know is I don't want all of these other more juvenile ones. So there's a small one there, small one there, there's a dead twig there, there's an aerial root there, there's a whole bunch of ugliness here. And do we want that? Yeah, we probably don't. There's a juvenile, look at that little one, there's a juvenile one there. That's quite a young shoot, right? You can see by the greenness, yeah? But it's got some thickness. So do we want that and sacrifice that one? If we wired this one down, that would be ideal. And you've got to remember, when you're wiring, you know, in trees, what happens is as the branches get bigger, you know, they start to weigh down. So I'll probably sort of tie that down with a little bit of weight, and then that will fill this void of the plant. So we're working at the back of the tree at the moment, getting it some form. Let's just do a tidy up there, 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 there. Yeah, so I am going to sacrifice that one. Big branches, and I'll show you a pretty radical cut. So I'm going to cut right in hard. Big chunk, right? So why did I do that? Well, because I want to get a taper. That was coming out, it's like a corner. So I want to get a bit of a taper there. And then I'll put that down. Now this has already got a nice little new side branch, because that'll end up thickening up and being wired out here, and then we'll get a shoot here, a shoot here, and a shoot here. So I think we can safely, I'm going to overcut it. I'm going to go to there. Probably should go to there, but let's overcut it and see what that looks like once the rest are cut off and I've got some balance there. So remember, I've got to wire that down. Ficus are pretty good, they're pretty pliable, they're very forgiving, a great tree to start with. This one here, just again, that doesn't fit, it's pointing down, let's get rid of that. There's a couple of little shoots in there. Do we want that one? Yeah, probably not, but I'm going to leave it for now and I'll just shorten it. You don't have to make all the decisions in one go. Now we've got a bit of a motley mess in here again. I'll just get my little. The hunk of wood's quite good, because it doesn't generally scar the bark. Well, if it does, it's only softly. Okay. Not 100% sure what to do there. I know that's probably oversized, so I'm going to leave it. I'm not sure. I'll keep working around the plant, and as I go around, things become more obvious. You can see it's a process, right? So I'm going to have to get some wire. Oh, that's just beautiful, isn't it? You know, I've got nice little side branches. I've got some age in there. A bit of mess going on, but and again, I've got a branch that's sort of under a main branch. That doesn't really show good form, so I think I'll take this one out. Hope you got the same good line of sight as I do. I'm looking at a slightly different angle. This one's juvenile, but it's got some good thickness. I'll just take that back a bit. Couple of dead branches there. This will probably get shorter, but I don't quite know where to yet, so I'll leave that. But can you see already we're getting some form? This one's certainly over length, so let's take that down to there. This one's definitely over length. You know, if you look at the centre trunk line of the tree and you go out, you know, it doesn't have to be dead pyramidical. You might have a slant, you might have it go out and down, whatever the form is, but there'll be generally some sort of triangulation to it, albeit obtuse triangulation. I can see over here now, I've mentioned that I've got too much, it's too long. So I can either cut this one shorter, or I can take that out altogether and make this one the new leader. I'll probably actually, I think, take that one shorter, and I'm going to cut it to an outward facing leaf. I wouldn't cut it to an inward facing leaf, because otherwise I'm going to have a branch you know, shooting out of that nose. So I'm going to an outward facing leaf, and again shorten this one to an outward facing leaf, and that's probably going to be okay, but again we'll work around, we'll come back and we'll check the balance of that. Yowzers. So we've got a lot of juvenile growth there, way too much length away from that stem. We've got a nice side branch there. Let's just pull that out. It's tangled up in there. Where do we take this one to? Look, I'm going to go a little bit radical because I want to get that tapering, and there's too much thickness there at that point away from the stem. So I'm actually going to treat this young juvenile as the new leader. So go a little bit radical. Now I'm going to cut away from it a little bit, which means that it'll start to heal up, and I won't have that nice tapering down, but I'll come back and I'll clean that up. Actually, I'll do a little bit of a clean up now. If I do it this way, it may end up healing nicely. I'm just going to be careful that I don't cut it too close, that I run the risk of that dying off. It's going to heal but be able to supply the juice for that one. So can you see that's got some balance now? Now I'm going to just nip the tip with my thumbnail on this one here. It's a very juvenile branch, so I can do that. That'll stop it growing any longer. and force it to thicken up and hopefully branch out some more. Okay, so just rubbing off some little ones there. So we're starting to get some good balance. This again I cut earlier, probably a bit too long, but we'll keep going around. This one's definitely way too long. So let's cut that. Let's go to there. Yeah, this one, what am I going to do with that? I'm going to leave those for now. I'm going to sort out, it's a bit of a mess here. I don't quite know what to do with all of that. But I do know that I need to form that leader. Remember, this is going to be my new leader. If I do that, this one could be in the way, because remember, this is going to be upright. This one's probably in the way. Yep, let's get bold and take it out. Hey, because you know what? Worst case scenarios, branches can grow back. I did nearly had a fatality on the azalea right next door. That's another story, another video. Okay, so this one here will end up getting branched out, branched out, branched out, branched out. It's a lot of wiring to do, and that's quite slow and tedious. So I don't know if I'll do that on video. Maybe let me know in the comments if you want me to do the wiring on video. So that's looking good. This is going to be our new leader. Wired out and around somewhere, wired out and around somewhere. This one over here could follow as a second leader, because you know that happens in nature. You've got two leaders. Could do that, or I could take that one, wire it down. I've got a lot of bunching going on over there, a lot of ugliness, a lot of stems coming out at the same place. And that just doesn't make for good form. You know, you want a stem coming out and then branching off. You know, multiple stems coming out at the same place just isn't right. So I'm going to leave all that. Yeah, way too long. Let's shorten that. And I'm actually going to take this one. You see in there, it's got nice little side branch. So again, taper it down to that. Shorten this one. Go to there, way too long. I'm going to cut that height because I don't know whether I want that as a leader yet. I'm going to just tip this one because that's our new leader. Remember, we're taking that out. I'm going to take this one out, so I'm going to just shorten it. A bit of over length there. What have we got in here? Yoga. What have we got in there? Some dead ends. That one's dead. Yep. Quite a bit of branching. Okay, look, that's way too long. Shorten that. So that gives me better form than it had. Now, if I clear that trunk, I've still got a fair bit of cleaning up to do on the trunk. So I'll go through and do that. But I'm going to go ahead and wire this before I do any more cutting, because when I form that up, I can make a decision whether I want to have this as a double leader or a lateral branch. I can have a look at this ugliness in here, this sort of mess, and decide, do I want to make that one go out that way and this one go out that way, or eliminate one of those. And then we've got a bit of mess around there. So I've got to make some decisions. This is starting to get a little bit too thick away from the trunk. So once I do the wiring, that'll help me to make those decisions. Anyway, just so that I update you on my overgrown Ficus Rubiginosa, and hope that helps. Hope you love bonsai like I do.